out the love, she coming through tonight. I thought I fuck no move to fight. Let's put our differences to the side. Let's go. You get a nigga like me, don't hide. I thought the love, she coming through tonight. I thought I fuck no move to fight. Let's put our differences to the side. To the side. I raised you up, don't you lie. I'm not a hustler, I'm out the way. I'm out the way. No bitch, but don't even.
Hey there, welcome to the Miss Best Reviews channel. We have James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel, a channel collab, isn't it great? He's here to help us go over the Housewives of Beverly Hills. This will be season 13, episode 8. Let me get your thoughts on the season while I sneeze. Or on the episode.
This episode was hilarious. And I, thought that Annemarie, you're not safe in this video for me, baby. You're not safe for me from this video at all. You got on my fucking nerves. Just throwing that out there. Doris is forever getting on my nerves, and I can't wait till we get that little snippet. Kyle, I see you. I see you. I see you. Who else? Sutton got on my nerves a little bit this episode as well. And that's pretty much it. Crystal, it was cool. I ain't had no problem with Crystal. So I ain't no problem with none of them. Crystal was cool.
So sorry. So, yeah. I have the worst allergies for everyone who
wants. Yeah, Annemarie, I'm about to read you by the end of this episode because I felt like
everybody's reading Annemarie, from the tabloids to her to doctors.
I mean, she sounded like a straight up fool.
Lord Jesus. Miss Diagree says she's ready for the mess, and we are too. Housewives of Beverly Hills. I've been watching this season. Well, I love this show. It's like they really find a way to be like their most bougie self, but their most messy self. It's craziness to me. Before we start our official recap, I just want to remind every single human that watches this that Dorit is not referred to as Dorit on this channel. She's Doris. And this name was given to her by James Jackson, renowned author and co-host of this live. Because that's probably what her name is. So jumping into the episode, we see Kyle talk to Mo about the marriage, and it just seemed fake. It seemed like we know that they're having problems. It's pretty obvious. You can always tell the disconnect between couples that you've been watching, right? And she really made a comment, and it's the only reason I'm commenting on this, where she said, I don't understand why people would talk about other people's marriage. Kyle, you have been on this show for 13 seasons, all 13 seasons. And every season when it comes to someone's married, let's go back to Taylor Armstrong when she was married to Russell, talked about her marriage. And that woman was going through actual abuse. Lisa Vanderpump and Kid Todd tried to talk about their marriage. At some point they brought up Dorito equals Doris. She has talked about Dorito's marriage, AKA Doris. Kyle has spoken about everyone's marriage, questioned everyone, been a part of all the messy conversations. So for her to say that is a joke. Moving on, we see Sutton at her store, and she feels as though she is a true businesswoman. Her store has been receiving some accolades and doing extremely well. I thought it was funny that she called Ozempic Activia.
That shit had me on the floor. I said, not Activia.
They both have catchy slogans that I'm not going to sing here because I'm not trying to get copyrighted. But
right, we don't need those problems. Yes, thank you.
They both have catchy ass slogans, so I thought that was funny, especially because she was like, these women, they're on that stuff. They're not going to eat anyway. Thought it was so funny. But we did see that she has a call with Crystal on FaceTime, and they speak about how annoying Kyle and Doris are, and they don't like. So on the last episode, Kyle and Doris, basically mostly Doris, inferenced that and insinuated that Sutton has a drinking problem. And they know what the fuck they were doing. So it's just, it's
irritating because it's like, first of all, it's one of those situations where you don't know if she really has this problem, and if she did, how are you making fun of it? Gonna make it will make it better for her, or
Mm,
bring awareness to her that she has this problem. Like I didn't understand that because y'all were doing it to mask a reason of why she went at Kyle. She had every single right to call Kyle out because
yeah,
Kyle has not been a good friend to Sutton
ever.
all. And in the situations that Kyle was pointing out when Sutton told her to name them, when she told her that, it was mostly Sutton defending herself against something else. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna play with Kyle this season. I'm not like
People act slow. Let's get into these comments. We have some good comments. Niagara says it just hit me. Kyle and Robin are reaping what they sown at the
oh
damn same
Lord
time.
Jesus.
Listen, the same time. That is the best way to put it. They are both original housewives to their franchises. They both spent seasons laughing, talking about other people,
I'm
getting into
saying.
other people's business, airing stuff out that should not have been aired out. It's
Right.
ridiculous. Her karma to follow is extra perfect with sugar on top. Karma is a bitch. Bitch. Whatever the hell. Karma's not good. It's not fun. So I think that's exactly what's happening. I don't care at all. I don't feel bad for Kyle in any way. We did see the mid-season trailer, which we'll talk about a little bit at the end of this. I don't care, Kyle. I don't feel sorry for you. That's all I'm gonna say. So we did see Kyle basically have her sympathy session. I will not call it a therapy or life coaching session because life coach sucks. I mean, just because you're rich and this person is in your area doesn't mean they're good at what they do. Kyle, you need to call Dr. Ish Major or somebody who's going to get in your ass.
I need a different therapist because if you've been seeing this therapist for 20 years,
Then it's not working. That's the problem.
then you either not you want, which I believe this. I don't think she's being honest. I don't. I don't
No.
think she's being honest. And first of all, she's not even self-aware. So how do I feel like somebody who is not self-aware is going to have the same therapist for 20 years and still have the same fucking problem she's had since season
When
one of
it
the show?
comes to therapy, the reason it takes so long is not because of your doctor, if they're a doctor of psychology, or your therapist. The reason it takes so long is because you get what you give in everything that you do in life, but especially
Yes.
in therapy. If you don't tell
Yes.
us therapists what the fuck is wrong with you, we can't help you. We can have an idea, but we can't actually use our perspectives and methods to help you to get better if we can't hear from
Because
you
they need
what is
to be
happening.
able to pinpoint the real issue of
Mhm.
why of whatever is going on. If you cannot give a clear and a lot of the times a lot of people are shamed by their truth, which is why
Yeah.
they never say it in therapy. But the problem is that you have to understand that is a safe space for you to
Yeah.
let out the things that you are shamed about. And but people don't do that. I don't understand that. And
I don't
Kyle's
get
another
it.
person.
I don't get it.
I
But
think the
Kyle,
thing, no, Kyle. The problem with Kyle doesn't want to admit that she's mean. She does
yeah.
not want to admit that for whatever reason.
What
And
we
you,
hear in the therapy session is her speak of her issues with her sisters. And this goes to what you just said about her not admitting she's mean. She speaks of the issues and they bring up examples of all these things that Kim and Kathy have been upset at her about through the years. And in my opinion, she's speaking of the issues with her sister and how they affect her, but she's the one who keeps fucking them over from what we know. I can't say that that's true, but that goes to what James says is she can't admit that she's mean. If you can't admit you're mean, how are you going to admit that you're screwing people over? And to give examples. And I did. Let's give examples. You allowed Brenna to disrespect your family. That was fucking Kathy over. The agency and the bullshit that Mauricio pulled on Rick and Kathy Hilton with that. Look it up for those who want information. I'm not going to talk about it here because I don't want to get sued while I have nothing. Um, then the American Woman show that was on, I believe, AMC Network or whatever, was a
right.
show that was about Big Kathy, who is Kyle, Kathy, and Kim's mother. Kathy explained she did not want to be a part of that because Kyle is telling the story when talking about her mother of her sisters as well. But that's not good. And part of the reason there is documentaries out and public people speaking out against how cruel and unusual Kyle and Kim and Kathy's mom was. So that I think was Kathy's concern with that. She ignored her family's concerns to produce it for money. I wouldn't produce anything on my parents without the approval of my siblings because we're all their children. That's just how I feel. And then in addition to that, the many seasons we got of her mistreating and outing Kim while she was sick, because addiction is a sickness. Kyle is awful. Nia Green says it's easier for Kyle to be a victim. It has been, and I agree, but I think it's starting to be where it's going to be a little difficult for her to be a victim.
It's going to be difficult because people here's and this is where Bravo fucks up every single time. People always want to equate her with being what the quintessential housewife is supposed to look like. Rich, attractive husband, beautiful children, beautiful home, all of this, you know, these fancy cars, this lifestyle, and then you being a prominent figure because of your background in the city of which you were in. That's why she's still here. Like, make no mistake, I'm aware of that. But my problem is that her behavior diminishes her message of that. And I think that that's what Bravo is not seeing. And I don't know how much more clear I can make this. This is why I don't like Kyle, because I feel like you play this victim only to mask the fact that you don't want people to see you, but anybody who has common sense can see you.
You know what I would like to see, and I've thought about this. I know a lot of people are against it. I wouldn't mind seeing a show with Kyle and her sisters and their families, but I know it's not possible because they hardly get along. But it's like, I know people are like, get rid of Kyle, bring Kathy, get rid of this person, bring back Kim, do this. I think the Richard sisters needs to be done with the fucking
I agree.
Housewives franchise, but I'm not opposed to seeing them do something else, but like with each other.
I'm good.
I don't know how
I don't need to see anybody. I'm not watching Paris's little show. I'm not watching them because I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. I am just like, I don't want to see Kathy. Kim is one of my top 5 favorite housewives. She really is. Like, when I tell you season 4, Kim, oh my God, when she was getting Rinna and Eileen, even though I love Eileen, she was getting them together and she said enough is a fucking enough. And that's what made her my favorite housewife, because she needed to do that.
Yeah.
So when I tell people all the time, I don't want to see those sisters no more, it's because the drama is inauthentic. They are not being honest about a lot of different things that goes on behind closed doors. And then also, to make things even more apparent, we have to now look at Kyle go through this fake ass storyline with her being in love with this woman, which I know we'll get into that in a minute. Allegedly.
Yeah. So the last thing we see in her sympathy session, and this is the one thing I felt like she does need an actual therapist that specializes in grief counseling. For her best friend took her life, which is unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. And she's hurting because of that. This woman she's known her since she was 7. This lady was in her will to take care of her children and receive all of her money, which I thought was weird because you have sisters and nieces and kids and nephews. But, you know, either way, her best friend passed away, and that's extremely difficult. I wouldn't know what to do if one of my good friends, such as James, were to go. That would be devastating. So I get that pain, and that's when I was like, okay, Kyle, this is just another reason you shouldn't have been on the season. Nia Green says she's guilty of it. I watched Paris' show. It helped me understand Kathy a bit more, and I can say I'm good off of her too. You're not the first person, Nia, who I've heard say that. I don't watch Paris' show.
Oh, I'm aware. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm aware of all of that. All of what Paris has said. I've read the book. I'm aware of everything that Kathy has done.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I like Kathy on the Housewives because it was an honesty that she had to where it felt like, okay, this is the authenticity I want to see from the Richards girls. Is this kind of authenticity. When she got Lisa Rinna together at that reunion, that's what made her redeemable for me, is because somebody needed to do it. And everyone was acting like they were so scared to do it. And I was like, for what? Now, the whole thing with her in Paris, and that's in those situations, yeah, that's a bit rough because it seems like you just didn't want to be a parent. That's just me. That just kind of with me.
I think that whole family is fucked up a little bit, and I encourage everybody to watch the documentary on Big Kathy, which is their mom, because it's going to explain the actions of Kyle, Kim, and Kathy pretty well, and I hope that they learn from it. The next thing we see, I'm not going to really comment on, but I'm going to go over it for those who I know don't have cable. Watch the channel to figure out what happened. We see Garcelle, her son Jade, and his girlfriend Ashlyn. They go out to eat. I wish I could have went out to eat and gotten filet mignon.
Okay, I was looking
my parents. All we got was
right.
Applebee's, Chevy's, and Claim Jumper if we was lucky.
Oh,
Shit.
Chevy's.
Oh.
I ain't been to Chevy's in 20 years.
My mama used to love taking us to fucking Chevy's on our birthdays. I hated it. I hated the hat. I didn't like the song. The dessert, I don't want flan. Okay, so I was just, this was back before Chevy's had these like.
Are they still? They're still in business?
They are still in business.
Oh, when I come visit, I might have to go just to kind of reminisce of my childhood just a little bit.
Here's the thing: Chevy's now though is more so a place people go for drinks. Like it's not.
It's not like what it was.
It's not like what it was.
Because I know they closed La Victoria's down in Hayward. I know that's been closed down. That pissed me off too.
They're open.
Someone told me they closed.
No, they're not. They're open.
Oh, never mind. Okay,
they have been moving around their locations though, because people that orange sauce, y'all. For those in the Bay Area,
that chips and salsa. When I tell y'all, oh my god. Okay, let's get back to the show. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. If you come to the Bay Area, go to a taco truck. Or La Victoria, like
La
go
Victoria's,
to the places
when I tell y'all,
a little shady, they're good.
Oh my gosh, I have to talk about because I'm thinking about it now. That chips and salsa is on a whole nother level. Oh. I don't know who grandmama being up in that kitchen making that, but she put a foot in it. I promise you.
They have. It's so good. Really, it is. It really is. Listen, when you come, we're gonna go eat.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving along, Garcelle and her son and his girlfriend go out to eat. I thought that was nice. But there's not much to say there. So we see Annemarie and her family. I didn't really care for this. It's cool that she's an actual housewife, but she's not because she has a job. But she has her kids. But at first I was like, oh, okay, cool. Then she ruined it. She says that her husband, she said, I'm on the East Coast, I'm sad. One thing about California, even though you can find good Mexican food in other places, there's nowhere where you'll have it like California, Texas, certain parts of Arizona.
Don't lie.
Certain parts.
Not even that. No, let me tell you. You know what it is? Because a lot of California's heritage of Mexicans come from Tijuana. And if you've ever been to Tijuana, that Mexican food is amazing.
It is very good.
But when you go to like southern borders of Nogales, going into like Rocky Point, and that Mexican food is not that good.
All I know is where we at here in California, we have some good food. I've had good Mexican food in Arizona, but it was like on the border, like quite literally, like the border was like.
I don't know what border you talking about, because let me tell you, that shit ain't good at all. But okay.
It was like, I don't know. It was literally a cart.
Oh, okay. I don't know those and the tamale ladies that knock on your door.
Yeah,
absolutely. Ooh. Absolutely. Those are the bomb. I took that whole lady's basket. I said, how many you got? She got $1. And I said, how much you got? I said, okay. So and she had 35 in there, and I took all 35 of them. I gave her $40, and I said, I'm gonna take your little basket too. Thank you,
James. Thank you.
I did. I said, I'm gonna take your little basket. She can go to Michael's and go get her another one. I wasn't playing with her.
I'm so done with you.
I took that whole basket.
No, that'd be the best. Listen, if you come to California, eat a food truck. If you see somebody Hispanic walking down the street with a cart and a horn, stop them and buy something. It's good. But Annemarie basically, her husband said, and this was weird. I don't know why she would tell us that. She's like, I'm very happy with my husband. We've been good. He just says that I'm not a 10 at anything. I was like, did she? What? How is that a good thing? She says he always jokes and says, I'm an 8.5 with looks. I'm an 8.5 in the bedroom. I'm an 8.5. Like, damn. I mean, 8s are not bad scores, but even if you listen, if I'm
ignoring this scene because
I'm a 10 and he tells me I'm a fucking 8, I'm not repeating that shit to nobody.
Right. When I tell you, I was looking at her. I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like,
And there's nothing else to discuss with this scene,
it
but
was
that
like, "What
I
is
had to
wrong
bring.
here?" It's like, "What is wrong here?" Because first of all, what are you trying to really? When she said, "Oh, my husband said I'm not a perfect 10, so I will take an 8." No, I need more context and explanation. What the fuck do you mean by that, sir?
I need Bravo's call center to figure out casting for Housewives in New York.
Right, because and then also I need Bravo's call center to look at this footage before they decide to air it to make this lady make a complete fucking fool of herself by saying that crazy ass shit.
Naya said she got uncomfortable at how happy that she was to be.
Yeah, that was another thing.
That was
Thank you, Naya, for pointing
weird
that out. That was weird as fuck to me. I was
because
like,
once you're married, you shouldn't rate or compare me to no bitch. I am your bitch. God
right.
damn it. Like what? Weird. But that was all we got from that scene. I thought that was crazy. She said, like, girl, what
Well,
exactly?
yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
And that's the thing. Women be, oh, he's in the football league. Oh, he plays
Girl, fuck all
basketball.
that shit. Look,
No, don't
yeah,
play me. Don't. She said the bitch. You hear me? Like, he better not ever. I can't imagine. That's unfortunate, but I don't know. Anne-Marie is weird.
we gonna pray for her.
While she commenting on everybody else's shit, which I'll get to, she got some shit that people
Yeah.
go watch and have something to say. So we then see Erica sign her deal for her Vegas residency, which is supposed to go through September through to January, I believe. And she says she's going to have 20 shows. I have not heard anything about this residency from people other than the tickets were cheap. And that's about it.
So I actually know somebody who did go to her show
Mhm.
because the tickets are very cheap. They're actually $7, but it's not. The $7 isn't like it's like in like the like not nosebleed, but like because it's not a big place where her residency is. They said based on entertainment wise, she didn't do bad. She didn't do bad. So, but I don't know if like this will be something she can re-enlist or reinstate after this is over with. I think they were just doing it because she's a household name on a TV show, and then I feel like
Vegas is about sin. It's called Sin City, and she is
no, and
sin.
I feel like because Bravo was, and I also heard this is alleged because I cannot confirm this with the source, but I also heard allegedly that Bravo did have a hand in her getting because they're doing her spinoff show.
They are.
That so I heard that Bravo had a hand in her getting this residency.
And for those wondering, I will not be recapping the spinoff show.
We will not be, and Watch Your Mouth Reviews will not be recapping her spinoff show either.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all we got. She signed her residency. I will say to her, because of where she was last year, I guess congrats. But like Jabe said, I think you hit the nail on the shit. I really believe that Bravo has something to do with it.
Which I feel like, let's play devil's advocate real quick. I feel like this, Bravo, when Jen Shaw gets out of prison, is she going to have the same opportunities that Erica has? Will she be back on the show?
Yeah. Or Teresa Giudice. She went to prison.
No, I'm gonna even go. I'm gonna get. No, let me do something first. Let me do something even worse. So, if one of the Black housewives got into some shit with one of their husbands that actually allowed them to lose all their money and have legal court cases and everything of that sort, would they still be able to keep their job on Bravo? And would they still be able to get opportunities allegedly off of the back of Bravo's contracts and doings? I'm just curious because I don't feel like Nene Leakes if she had this scandal that Erica had, that she would be able to redeem herself in the way.
Oh, those are the perfect examples. Nene Phaedra took almost a decade to get back.
Right. So that's why I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I'm saying it makes me wonder about that because her tagline bothered me. I actually finally heard it for the first time today. I mean, yesterday. The first time yesterday. And Erica's tagline, she said the best thing about losing it all was to be able to get it back. And I was like, wow. So yeah, that bothered me a little bit.
Yeah, Erica is definitely not someone. We already know the bitch lacks empathy. I don't think she's going to have it. She has a residency in Las Vegas. I stand by what I said in the last video. Erica, I want you to sing a cappella because your creative manager, your stage manager, okay, the engineers, the hotel that you're at, I know that they're going to cover the lights. Your background dancers got you, you know, the people working. I want to hear you sing a cappella. Beyonce does all that extra stuff and puts on a great show. Ushers put on a great show. We've had a lot of greats do Vegas residencies. They can all sing a cappella. I want to hear you a cappella, boo. Listen, Candace, she on Housewives of Potomac. What's her tag? I just hit high notes. She sang a cappella. Come on, Erica. Got residency. Let me see what that mouth do in a different way. Moving it along, because my mouth is going to a place that's not nice. Kyle's prepping for Sutton's event, and she calls Morgan Way. They say it's a friendship, but the production is obviously trying to paint it as some stupid ass love affair. Here's what I'm gonna say. All I got from that scene, I looked some things up, you guys, recently about Morgan Way. She's someone who has struggled in the past and has been sober for 6 years. I think that the only reason Kyle is suddenly sober is so that she can be around Morgan Way, because people who often struggle with addiction or who choose to be sober or who are sober because they're in recovery, they usually choose to surround themselves around people who are also sober, even if they don't have an addiction or anything like that, because that's what they have to do to protect their own mental health and their sobriety. Nothing is wrong with that. Here's what I see a problem with. Kyle, out of the blue, because there's been rumors about Mauricio season after season after season. Okay, he's been busy. There's not too much to their dynamic that has changed, in my opinion. So why are you suddenly sober? You know, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but if you really thought your alcohol was getting you into trouble, you would have seen that after that bitch Diana, the racist lady, was trying to talk to Sutton, and Kyle's drunk ass was getting physical and doing extra stuff. You should have said, I want to get sober after doing that on TV. But no, you say it once you meet Morgan Wade. So that's my opinion. Did you have any opinions on that?
Nope.
Stupid ass phone call. He's not disagreeing. So
I'm not disagreeing because I feel like I see what you're trying to do, and I'm not falling for it, Kyle. I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for it whatsoever. I'm starting to believe she's doing this for attention.
Yeah, I think Kyle is an attention seeker.
Well, she's pretentious. So yeah, absolutely, she's doing it for attention.
What did Naya say? I missed this comment, but I'm gonna highlight it anyway because I agree. The housewife bar these days is low. It is low.
Absolutely.
It's definitely low.
Absolutely.
They need to just start again.
And it's been low for years. We're just because now it's starting to feel like they don't have to do much, but just be problematic, start some drama, and have somewhat of a cute home life. And that's just all that.
I want the OG housewives from every franchise. And I know this sounds crazy, but in my little brain, I've thought about this from every franchise, from Miami to Jersey to Beverly Hills. I want them to take the OGs who have been there since season 1, remove them from the shows,
right,
and replace them with new blood that's not connected to them, and then take those OGs and put them on Peacock on a girls trip or a legacy type show or something like that. But I know that we won't get that. So the next thing we see is the ladies go to Sutton's event, and Kyle announces that her date is going to be Kim, and she says that it's going to show Sutton that she did not lose 2 sisters. But what I will say, and we all notice this, Kyle, you can't ever seem to get along with both of your sisters at the same time. And they seem to be able to get along without you with no problem consistently. But you seem to not be able to get along with them concurrently, consistently through the years. That tells me that you are the common denominator to this problem, meaning that you are the cause of the problem. So that's how I feel about that. And it's weird to use your sister as a way to get back at somebody. So you still don't fucking respect Kim. If my sister struggled with alcoholism, I don't give a fuck about the camera. I don't give a fuck about these hoes. I don't care what nobody said. I don't care how mad I am at her or how mad she is at me. I'm not going to put your ass on camera to prove a point to someone and put you in a place where you're around alcohol and drinks and temptation.
I wouldn't even say that. I would just say you bringing Kim around and trying to prove a point to Sutton when all Sutton got to do is go on YouTube and pull up the video with you and your sister in the back of that fucking limo, and that would just eat all that shit up. I would believe a fucking thing. She's your sister. Of course she's supposed to get along with your ass. That's the whole fucking point.
That's
That's so
crazy.
stupid. That was so stupid of her to do, because as we said, it wasn't the fact that Sutton was wrong for saying that shit.
He was.
But at the end of the day, let's not act like you bringing Kim there was supposed to gratify that Sutton was wrong. No, Sutton was wrong because you didn't speak to her for a minute. And at that moment there, you weren't speaking to Kathy. So let's not act like that didn't carry bearings on your situation. That's why I can't give a Kyle, because she's so crazy.
Yeah. Kyle doesn't make no sense. I agree also with Naya's statement as well. She said that part, she's in constant turmoil with her family, who isn't, but yeah. I mean, yeah, my family, I'm one of 4 siblings. I'm the oldest. I have divorced parents who, in my opinion, still like each other, but you know, that's another thing. Anywho, I feel like James is like, what the hell? Everybody's family to some extent is dysfunctional, has turmoil, has issues. But I don't go on Instagram. I don't even post subs directed toward my family. Like, our business is our business and don't nobody need to know about it. I cannot like you all the fuck I want, but the rest of the world don't need to know, and they're not going to disrespect y'all. They're just not. Like, I don't care what issues I have. Kyle doesn't understand or follow that form of royalty or of loyalty. And it seems like they're all kind of that way, but Kyle seems to be that way the most. So we then basically see at this event, Sutton give this very strange speech, and she wrote it down. And this is what makes Sutton endearing. This is why people like her, because she's not perfect. And that's the thing. She shows, like, you could be rich, you could have all the money in the world, but still not be perfect. The speech was terrible. It was awkward, but she got through and she did it. So then she's socializing at the event, and she asked her house manager, who they're more like a married couple. They argue so much, but
I'm trying to tell you.
She asked her house manager, she's like, okay, I'm ready for my drink now. Like, I've done my speech. She wanted to get through shit sober. I get that. I'm a pothead. Like, I don't smoke before work. I don't smoke during my shifts. Do that shit after work when shit's done, food's cooked, and I'm in the bed. James knows I'm a pothead. He knows. I can say it. I don't care. I'm 21 and it's legal in my state. Kiss my ass. But you shouldn't. Sometimes it's good to have a clear mind. So when she's talking about her drink, Kyle and Kim are over there, and she's like, "Oh, is it okay, Mom? I can have a drink, Mom." And Kim is like, "Wait, what? The fuck?" Kim's like, "What's wrong with her? What's she talking about?" And Kyle's like, wait, what? So they talk finally about their little issues. And Kyle says basically that Garcelle made a comment. She's upset about that makeup band comment. And the makeup band comment was a comment that Garcelle made, saying that Kyle's new wedding rings and things of that nature are gifts from Mauricio for his foolery. He's like, "I'm sorry, I've cheated on you. Here's this gift." And it's not uncommon. Even
I was just about to say that. That's not that uncommon at all.
Men will go do some fucked up shit and then think that a bouquet of roses and some chocolate is gonna fix it. No, nigga. That's a knockoff. James, listen. I'm a Gemini. Hell no, that won't work. And it's not gonna fix everything. It's just a gift. It doesn't take the pain away. It doesn't repair whatever the fuck is broken. But Kyle didn't like that comment. She was very triggered by that comment. And Sutton was like, "I didn't make the comment." And they love to do this to Sutton. And this is why I fuck with Garcelle, because Garcelle came over and confirmed. She was like, "Yes, I did say that." Which we all knew. And all these people said. And that's what I'm like. I love when they do this to Kyle and Doris, because they get backed into a corner and then they start to do what I call reality TV gibberish, which is when you're caught in a lie and then you're just thinking of whatever you can to save you. So then Dorit jumps in, Miss Doris, and I don't understand why she jumped into this conversation, because her name was not brought up. It had nothing to do with her. And they want to question Sutton, but I feel like they need to question Kyle the same way that they questioned Sutton, Erica, Brenna, and the countless other people who've been on this show. And the ladies just are not doing that. So then Doris jumps back into the pool, even though the bitch can't swim and her wig is not glued down. And she says that Sutton speaks about people's marriages behind other people's backs. And Sutton immediately fires back, saying that Crystal told her that Doris was talking about Sutton as well as other people's marriages. I don't understand it. So Doris is like, oh, I'll have to talk to Crystal about that in her American accent. That is slightly pretentious, as we like to say. And then after all of that, and this is what throws me off. And this is where I was like, Sutton, you need to just kick that bitch in her ball sack if she had one, because they apologized to each other. And the only thing I would have apologized to Kyle for was the comment I made about her sister. I would have stood in everything else that I fucking said. I don't care.
I don't know if I would have apologized for, even though it was wrong as fuck. I don't know that I would have apologized, because when has Kyle apologized for the shit she do?
Well, she apologized for some of it.
Yeah, she doesn't apologize for everything, so I wouldn't apologize.
But I don't think it was sincere. I feel like she only apologized because Kim was there and she was going to be exposed for bullshit. And Kim and Kathy are close, and Kim would have gone and told Kathy, and then that would have interfered with their little healing ship.
I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't have apologized for this comment. I said it oh well.
James said, "Fuck you."
I'm not fucking. No, I'm being serious. I wouldn't have apologized for shit. Because the problem is, you mad because Sutton is still friends with Kathy, despite what Kathy did to you allegedly. Because we don't know what the fuck Kathy did. All we know is that it was a story that didn't make any fucking sense. So you mad because Sutton still stay friends with Kathy? Really? Because that's what it is. If anyone now tell me she's mad at that time, she was mad at Sutton because Sutton was still friends with Kathy after the fact that situation happened.
Listen, I get tired of Kyle. You haven't been that great of a friend to Sutton, and I don't care if people say, "Well, Sutton lived in her house and she paid her rent too." So
Sutton, let me explain something to you. Sutton gave that lady $20,000 a month for rent. $20,000. That house ain't worth no fucking $20,000 in no goddamn Hollywood.
It's not. And Kyle's houses since season 1, to me, the style of house that she likes, we're from California, so we're very familiar with the area. We've been to the area multiple times.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where her house is.
Kyle chooses, go drive through Beverly Hills. I don't know what she's doing, but they got some. Beverly Hills is fucking beautiful. I will say that. And them houses is insane.
Absolutely.
These old farm eclectic. I don't know what the hell. But yeah, what I will say is they apologize to each other. But the reason we like Sutton is because she will apologize for stuff and be accountable. But she also gonna talk her shit, call you out, and keep her foot on neck. So I appreciate that. Yep. But then, and this is why I have Naya's comment highlighted. We see Doris go over to try and talk to Crystal. And this is why like moments like this are where I like Crystal. She doesn't really give much as a housewife. I think she'd be better as a friend of personally, but she was hella funny. Dorit was trying to talk to this woman about what this woman did. And all I'm going to say is what Naya said, because that cuts it real short. Doris panicked and she went into a spiral of word vomit. That is the best way to explain what happened. And I was cracking up because Crystal said before it went to commercial, yeah, I don't care. I was looking like, she just looked at her like, I don't care.
I don't care. Right. And that's the thing. I was so proud of Crystal, even though she did piss me off a little bit at some point in this episode. But here's my thing. You had to have known. See, the problem is, Doris didn't know if her and Sutton were in a great place based on, that whole situation of her saying something, Sutton saying something dark. So she didn't know where Crystal really stood with Sutton. But that's how I know she don't pay attention to social media. Because when they're not filming, Crystal and Sutton hang out all the fucking time.
All the time.
All the time. Like, I see Crystal and Sutton everywhere together. Taylor Swift concerts, Dodgers games, they are always together. So you cannot possibly think that you and Kyle having your little tee-hee at her house, inviting Crystal, that y'all had no idea that wouldn't get back to her. Come on. Get out of here, Doris.
They invited Crystal hoping that, I really think Kyle and Doris are in their head and think that they're bigger and have more control of things than they actually do, and probably thought we could just take all her friends, because that's what they try to do. Naya said we were all bored. That Crystal said it. I felt when she said it. We are fucking bored. We are bored. She says she finally clocked in and defended herself clearly and concisely. That's what it was.
She did. But
Yeah.
one thing that I would have preferred her to do is to call Dorit. Dorit, you know you said that shit. And you know you were being shady. Stop fucking playing with everybody. I need somebody to tell Doris that.
Yeah.
I need someone to tell her that. You be playing in people's faces and doing and trying to spin the story and get us all confused and shit. Also, you can just walk out to stay clean. No, I'm holding your feet to the fucking fire. You know you said that shit and you were wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And Crystal clarified exactly what she said, what was said, and who said what. And I found it to be interesting because Doris now, after being told that she was bored, because Doris talks and talks and talks, you know, I think she was a little like, let me just be quiet. So once Crystal clarifies who said what and who did what, showing that these women were messy, Anne-Marie's dumbass jumps in. And it's like, come on, dude. We have one Black housewife in the history of this franchise, this one for Beverly Hills. And then we get the second one, and this is what you do, and this is who you choose to align with. Anne-Marie, you're aligning with Doris, who throws constant microaggressions towards African-American people. Then you are aligning with Kyle, who's just, you know, it's Kyle. She's not the greatest. So I don't understand that. Anne-Marie jumps in to comment on Sutton's health. And this is where I'm offended. I think a lot of people are disappointed with her, especially within the medical community. There's something called HIPAA, and you don't want to be disrespectful. There's oaths that doctors take. That mind you, Anne-Marie is not a doctor. She's not a damn doctor. So Sutton has an issue with her throat. She has an esophageal issue, which is something that's common. I've struggled with that as well. And the women have been commenting on it as the reason, like, oh, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do this, which is also extremely inappropriate. And Anne-Marie decides to say, well, unless she has a sphincter, she should be able to just chew her food and swallow. And when she said that, I knew that she is just, you're a nurse. You're a nurse. You're a nurse anesthetist. Like, you don't even do more than hook up the IVs to the veins. You put the butterfly needle to the hand and or to the kid's vein, and other than that, you're really just tracking medications and what they receive while the anesthesiologist is over there doing the math and figuring shit out. Like, she's the nurse. I'm not saying nurses aren't valuable, but the nurse in your ER is a lot more valuable than Anne-Marie, if that makes sense to those wondering. So it's strange that a nurse is commenting so matter-of-factly. There's a reason that there is a difference between doctors and nurses, even though nurses do a lot, and they are the heart of hospitals, doctors' offices, and were the heart of COVID when we went through that. But there is a reason why doctors have to go to school 50 times longer than nurses. There is a reason why we should only be seeking this type of advice from a doctor. Your nurse should give you your vaccine, help with your medication, give you light, instructions after the doctor has told them what to tell us. But that's about it. So I don't understand why Anne-Marie was commenting. I also felt like it wasn't appropriate for her to bring up Sutton's health issue at her event in front of a bunch of people. Why? I didn't understand why she did that. So Sutton is on gabapentin. Let's just get it out. Gabapentin is a medication that is usually given to people for neuropathy, which is nerve pain and issues, which Sutton has. Anne-Marie questioned her about this at the dinner, but then also acknowledged the fact that Sutton does take the medication. She's like, well, you have neuropathy, right? And she tried to call that out. That's how the gabapentin came up. For those wondering, because I know someone who takes gabapentin, you're not supposed to drink on any medications really, but some of them you can get away with, like a glass of wine or something small. People break those rules all the time. Erica said it in that. A side effect of gabapentin is an esophagus that swells. Google it. Another side effect of gabapentin: hiatal hernias, esophageal weakness, because that is a muscle. Okay, yeah. So it can become harder to swallow. It is a side effect. I've had to take the medication at one point for something different because they will give it for other things. And I had that side effect and it led to some shit. The other thing, I have had a hiatal hernia and I had a surgery called a Nissen fundification. Okay. And what that is what Sutton said that her brother had, and she doesn't want to have the surgery. It is common in people over the age of 40. Common, especially in Caucasian people. We are still in Sutton's range. This issue that people have when they correct it, and I had this done to my throat at the surgery. They basically stretch your esophagus and your stomach, and it gets up and wrapped around, and it helps to strengthen it. For some people, they put in a mesh. I didn't want the mesh because look up meshes. You don't want that shit. I don't want problems in 10 years. But that's what happens. What is wrong with Sutton? It is very probable that she actually does have these issues. It is very probable that when she was all animated at Kyle's house, that it was probably because she was mixing alcohol and gabapentin because she takes it at night. The other thing is she don't have to explain shit to nobody. But Annemarie, you're supposed to be a nurse and you could question this woman on shit, but you don't understand basic medication. All I have is a medical assisting degree, and I understand it from when I had to do my drug paperwork and learn and write down every drug that can be prescribed and for what. How did I not miss that just as a medical assistant, which is just 18 months of school? And this nurse anesthetist, she's a nurse for an anesthesiologist. They go to school for about 5-6 years. How is it that she missed this, Annemarie? So I didn't like what Annemarie did. I don't think anybody did. Do you have an opinion on that, James Jackson?
Yeah, absolutely, Annemarie. I want you to get your tongue up out of Kyle's ass and use the fucking common sense that God gave you. Because common sense would have led you to say, this event is not supposed to be where I confront this lady about her own medical issues, seeing how I have a nurse's license my fucking self. Because if that lady reports you to the board of nursing, then you're going to get mad. Because then that takes away your livelihood. And she has the fucking proof because you said it on national fucking TV. So, and I know you're doing this on behalf of Kyle because you had a meeting with her in this episode that led to this.
Yeah. It looked planned.
Right. You are not smart for doing this. This actually made us look at you sideways, and I wanted to side with you. I was excited about you coming on this show because I didn't think Bravo was going to do it. I honestly, after Cherie, I did not think Bravo was going to bring another black lady on this specific franchise.
I forgot all about her ass.
Yes, exactly. I did not think they were going to do it. So when they did it and they chose you, here you go doing this goofy shit you just did. So you know what? You got the right one because Sutton not gonna go at you the way somebody else would have had you did that to them. So you got the right one. But what I'm saying is you like this is now the second episode. I'm trying to like you and I'm trying to give you a chance. But if you keep doing this goofy shit, I ain't gonna fuck with you on the show.
It reminds me of what they tried to pull with Yolanda.
Right. Yes. All that shit still pisses me off to this day.
The Munchausens, they're basically doing the same thing without actually saying that. By questioning her, she questioned her about her medical issues as if she was lying. And that's not appropriate. The other thing is all people trained in any form of medicine understand that even though there's a basis for, you know, what's followed and how to diagnose and things like that, every person is different. And a lot of what they've learned and follow is old, dated, and racially biased, they'll say. So it's
because you know the our DNA is subtly different. And in your biology courses, because you're required to take 4 of them, they will tell you every time when it comes to the study of life in the body, there is an exception to every rule. They make it very clear, which is why a lot of the time testing and everything, 7 out of 10 people test inconclusive to a lot of different things because our body and the way we morph and the way our DNA spreads, it is completely different throughout time. So I just felt like she just really made an ass of herself. And the fact that you so up Kyle's ass already, and then ain't been 2 or 3 episodes that you ain't been in, I'm telling you, this shit is going to backfire.
Sutton did get her together. She said, well, do you want my insurance card? Would you
Yeah, I
like
laughed at that shit. I thought I was like, yeah, you better get
and
her
looking at
something.
Anne-Marie's face, I think she realized because her
Oh, she
face
goes, how condescending. No one condescending.
yeah,
You
no,
was
what's
asking,
condescending, yes. Being questioned
being
about
questioned
fitness
about my
issues.
medical history as if I see you every Tuesday and you get my blood pressure.
Listen,
Like the fuck
listen,
out of here. Yeah, I'm not.
listen. And
Yeah,
the
you know
other thing
what?
Sutton said, you don't know me. I never met her. We were strangers. Listen, no, you do not go to someone that you don't have. I would never talk with anyone about their medical issues who I haven't known for at least like a year or two. And even then, it's
I
like,
wouldn't even
you're
know.
not
I
going to
wouldn't go
walk.
to a medical unless you shared it with me and you told me check on me every now and then in public to make sure I'm not drinking too many drinks or I'm not drinking. I would never bring that up. Not on no fucking camera where the world can see me and try, because what you were trying to do is you were trying to prove Kyle's point about her being an alcoholic and her faking this shit. You were
Yep,
trying to do that and that shit backfired on your ass.
yep.
And now America really finna eat your ass up and you are disappointed because there's no way that a woman of this whole manipulation game every season that she's been on this show could get me, an educated person, to sit up there and make a fool of myself on national TV, questioning the lady's medical history as if I've read all of her medical forms.
Really, it's just trifling, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. And,
It
and
doesn't.
somebody like her should know better. That's what I'm saying. Somebody of her caliber should know better. I could see if it was some goofy lady like when they out at Quad at Concentra, when she cut her face because of Lisa Nicole, and that's how all the blogs knew that Quad was in urgent care. I could see if it was that, but no,
You just did it to do it, and it was whack. And do not be Anne-Marie and Doris's minion, or don't be Doris and Kyle's minion. Like I don't
that's
like
the wrong
that.
team. Crystal found that out real quick. That's
Yeah,
the wrong team.
it's the wrong team. So, in my opinion, just to summarize everything, because that was the last scene of this episode, I think that they're all a little jealous of Sutton because of her income, and the more they seem to learn about Sutton, the more they watch how Sutton says, I'm going to work on this house. And then her house is finished within a season. I'm going to open my store. Her store succeeded. You saw the comments, but Kyle's store closed. She couldn't afford the rent. Doris can't keep the finished shit. Fucking.
Not only Sutton stores has been open throughout COVID.
Yep.
Throughout
She survived COVID.
She survived it. So I'm telling y'all. And the thing about it is, this is why, and you know what? And I would flaunt my shit too. If I had $300,000 a month coming to me, if I was given $1.7 million in cash, if I was given a brand new Bentley, and also 2 minor league baseball teams, you really think I'm gonna shut up about that shit? Hell no.
Remember how Sutton came on this show? She came on this show through Lisa Rinna. And Lisa Rinna is and she is rich. I really think because that is a thing here in California, even in the Bay Area. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Like if you have money or can show something, like Californians are real.
But see,
like,
the thing about it is, it's not questionable money like the rest of like Doris and Erica and hell, I'm almost questioning Kyle at this point. It's not questionable money. Sutton has legit money. Like it's you can
coming
research,
in monthly.
and it's coming in monthly on top of the other endeavors that she has that you can actually go and research. You actually can get the names of the minor league baseball teams.
I mean, they could all be that rich too if they stop paying for plastic surgery and invest more.
Or stop trying to be a crook. You know, I ain't saying no names, but
we do see a mid-season trailer. I'm not going to discuss it too much. It looks like the rest of the season, in my opinion, for me, because it looks like it will be a lot of Kyle in it. I'm just like, Bravo, stop doing that. If something happens and comes out when you stop filming, let that be. Maybe you'll attain more people to watch the show because then they're going to want to watch the next season. You don't have to pick the cameras back up and then give us basically another half of a season of something we don't care about. Even if Kyle and Mauricio divorce, I don't care. I've never cared for or thought that their marriage was the strongest or something to like envy or anything like that. So I don't know. But that is my recap of the Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13, episode 8. Whenever the show comes back, because I know Christmas is next week, we will be here to recap it. I believe Christmas is on a weekend. or something like
Christmas
that.
is on like a Monday.
It is. Oh, it is on Monday. So if they air the rest of these shows, which they might not, because then we go straight into New Year's and people are out and traveling. Whenever the show airs, me and James will be back here. But I appreciate everybody. Thank you, Naya. Thank you to those watching the live replay. Thank you to those who participate. The next time I will be live will be tomorrow. If you like music, we'll be having a live song review with a bunch of different artists. And then we will have a Love After Lockup recap on Saturday. But I hope that you guys all have a good night. I hope that you subscribe to the channel, spread the word, subscribe to James's channel as well. The link and information is in the description. And I'm out. Good night, beautiful humans.